Hey, and warmly welcome to the Rune Chat with me, Isabella Rose. I am the founder of Runen Yoga. Today, we are going to talk about where do the runes come from? Who made them? And where were they? And even we're going even to talk about the Runen Yoga online course, which is soon going to be released. And I'm going to answer all your questions. For starters, it's important for you to know that I'm not a rune expert. So, what I have done, I have been looking for what the runes can help us with, what we can do with the runes to get a more healthy life, to come through challenging times, and to use them to connect us with everything. Because the runes were the North European first writings. So, can you imagine over thousands of years, people living many, many generations, living without writing something down, only talking or singing to communicate? So, what many people don't know was that in Northern Europe, of course, they know there was an ice age, and that ice age was actually 10,000 years long. Can you imagine having it so cold for such a long time? Not sitting here in the warmth. So many people think that there were nobody living in Northern Europe at that time, but that's not true. Because during the Ice Age, the continents were standing differently. And the Gulf of Mexico, the warm Gulf Stream, kept a little tiny part of the Norwegian landscape at the coast free from ice. So there was actually a territory where people could survive and live. And they did. It's proof of that because they found these grottos in the mountains on a completely interesting height. Because, of course, during the Ice Age, the ice was pressing down the land. So when the ice vanished, the land got higher. So nobody discovered those grottos until recently. That's only to tell you or to explain what kind of people started to be compromised with writings. So maybe we can grasp it if we think about, okay, if somebody would just show us that you can write something with something, letters in the air, which we would think that's not possible. But if someone would start to do that, we would stand there and we would think, oh my gosh, this is magic. Like if some terrestrial people would come and do it with their machines, whatever. So we would be completely surprised, maybe also shocked or devastated. I don't know. But we would be very curious and also maybe a little bit afraid because we don't know it. So the people at that time didn't have writings. They were very peaceful people. They had no weapons, only things for to hunt. And it is said it was a matriarchy. So at that time, they were living peacefully. And it is also said that the writings are something male. Talking, sound, making sound, speaking is female, and writing is male. So I don't think that it's a coincidence. That's my personal opinion. That the patriarchy started just during the time the runes appeared. So, how did the runes come to Scandinavia? Because you should know that 80% of the rune stones are in Sweden. There are only 5 different places in Germany where there are rune stones, but all the rest of them, hundreds of them, are in Sweden and in Norway and in Denmark. So someone came back from a journey and brought those runes with them. The Romans had already invented their letters, and the runes were like the first attempt to copy the writings they had seen. That is just one explanation. There are many more, maybe, I don't know, but that is one that most of the experts agree on. So, okay, let's see. How can I put this? At first, it was more like writing something down. I was here with a name or something. And of course, because of the people thought this is something magical, and they were also a little bit afraid. And those who could carve runes had a very high standard in the community. And the first runes appeared in the 100th century after Christ was born. And from then on, those are the oldest runes they have found were around 100. And then they started to be more and more. And you can put the runes into 3 main, yeah, how can you say, maybe alphabets, or don't know. It's more the first runes they call the Proto-Norse runes. Those were the first that started, and they were pretty the same for some 100 years, and then the Viking runes took over. And with the Viking runes, the runes changed more obviously. And after the Viking runes, the Middle Age runes appeared. So what I am doing with Rune Yoga is a mixture. It's not only the Proto-Norse, it's also from the others. If you are interested in like trying to use the power of the runes, you're more than welcome to come to a Rune Yoga workshop or to sign up for the Rune Yoga online course, which will be available for a lifetime. But I'm going to come to that later. But the runes were carved and used from from people that were very, very connected to the earth and were in this matriarchal structure and were connected more with nature and everything. So that was my little approach where I thought, I want to know about how did they think at that time, because we don't have any evidence. So when you practice the runes in Runen Yoga, you actually can start to understand our ancestors. That was how I started to work with them to find out how did they feel at that time? What kind of people were they? And can we get a lesson from that? And also, I think that everything that a human creates sends out an energy. So if you look at the runes, I have a little piece of runes here, just a little. Those are the proto-Norse also. You see there are many staves. A lot of course, this stave. And it came from there. They parted it and everything. Some people would say there is actually a pattern there with the holy geometry. Um, but the approach in Rune Yoga is much different because we try to copy the rune in Rune Yoga to find out, to connect with the rune. Every rune has its special energy. Something was created. And if something got created, it is carrying the energy from that time too. And R is, for example, produced in your mouth at the complete different place than a L or an K. So it makes different sounds. And what we all now have understood, because it's coming more and more, that the sound is something very important. You can heal with sound. You can use sound waves, for example, also to turn out fire. You can use sound waves to levitate things. And sound was the thing that my point of view and some other people who think the same was the first thing that happened. The word raunen, to raun, means to make a sound or to whisper or to tell a secret. So it has something with communication to do. And that is also something we put into Runen Yoga. We round the rune. It's all just to get connected to the rune. So I was so interested in the runes, so I started to do a lot of research. I went into different university libraries, and I took a look at a lot of books. There were not many about the runes and rune yoga, but I took a look and I found out that every book about the runes, every author has their own interpretation of the runes. Some are pretty similar, and there are things that are similar, but they could go on and on for pages about the runes and giving them some powers or saying that they are for this and that. And because it was so different, I started to think, nah, I'm not going to go into detail with the runes and their meanings. And that's also not what we're doing in Rune Yoga. And don't get this mixed up, please, with rune healing or people who are working with the rune cards or with the rune stones. Rune Yoga is something completely different because you are the one connecting with the rune also by doing the sound so that you get the answer from the rune. So while I was researching about the runes and what they stand for, I could narrow it down to a handful of words. handful of, how do you say, characteristics of the runes. That is actually what I have on my Rune Yoga overview, which you can download for free on my Rune Yoga, rune-yoga.com page or on Instagram. You know this one? Maybe you've already seen that. And there you see 18 runes. And those are the ones that I've narrowed down that are completely those that you need and that those you can work with and are covering all the challenges that we have. So you're invited to try that out and take a look at them and get to know them a little bit. And of course, to practice Rune Yoga, and now we come to the Rune Yoga online course, which is released in the beginning of March now. To practice Rune Yoga, you will learn how to stand, in which direction, how to make the sound, how to do the mudras. Then mudra is not only it's the rune hand gesture, and for how long and how you can do that, and which rune you should pick for your concern, for your challenge that you try to overcome, and also how to breathe properly so that you get the most out of chanting the rune raunen, and also how to make yourself as an antenna for heaven and earth, and to feel that connectedness, that oceanic feeling of we're all one. And you can do it on your own. It's totally fine. I did it too. I spent 1 year practicing every rune in every possible way to find out what makes sense, what helps, and how does it help. To really cross out all the bullshit I had read in all those ancient old books written by mostly German men who were, some of them, not really political correct, to say so. So what you're getting from the Rune Yoga online course is years of research and really getting rid of all that doesn't help you in any way. I really stripped it down so that you really can feel it and go into the rune. And in the Rune Yoga online course, you're going to get the complete description how to go about, how to do it. And it's going to be lifelong access. So if you want to practice it again, you can do it every time. What does it help? It helps if you feel stuck, if you maybe you're in a fight with someone. Maybe you need to let go of something. Maybe you want to accept something. Maybe you want to attract love, or yeah, attract love. I can tell you a little thing about that. For example, it's not like you're waving a wand and then it poof is there for you. Like you think you manifest something within 2 weeks because you think about it the whole time. It's not that. It's more like the rune has a solution for you and it gives it to you, it brings it to you, and it has an answer to you if you want to hear it. Sometimes the answer is not fun at all because it may be something that you're not happy about, that you have to realize and understand. And that's the beauty of Rune Yoga. It's not like any other yoga type, like where you go to yoga to stretch your body and make your body look young and beautiful and flexible. Rune Yoga is there for you to really get spiritual, to get more sensitive towards the oneness and the odom that is surrounding us, where all the information also lives in. Yeah, I know I'm getting quite spiritual here. Um, those who are going to do those who want to become a teacher, I will teach them how to teach others to get into that state through Rune Yoga. But you will also learn it while practicing the online course. And back to the thing attracting love. Sorry, I got carried away. I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, why don't I have a partner? So I started to think about that. And I started to work with two of the love runes. And after some days, I got the answer that I should go to another healer and go back into my past and to get rid of some blockages. So I went to the other healer, and after I had been there, it was like I totally calmed down. There was this inner calm and this inner knowing everything is fine, and I didn't run after love any longer. So if I hadn't practiced the runes, I would never had taken that step to that healer. And that is how the runes work. They give you the answer in different ways. Maybe you dream something. Maybe you get it already while you're standing there and doing the posture with the rune. Maybe it's while you're rauning, while you're chanting. It's totally different for everyone. And to be honest, we are embarking on a completely new way to get connected here. There is um there's no recipe for that, because we've been living now for 2000 years in this patriarchal society where everything that was emotional or spiritual has been pushed down and away. So we have forgotten, and we have also just lost the connection to the nature. So we have to find our own way to get back to that state, to connect with nature, to connect with each other, and to open up our to get rid of our filter and open up for everything that surrounds us. And the runes, Runen Yoga, is one really fast and beautiful way to go there and to find out. So while I was doing Runen Yoga, it was like completely clear to me, oh, okay, I've understood everything and it's all connected. That feeling that many people wait for, that sometimes only lasts for some seconds and then it's gone. And I cannot assure that you will also feel it right away, or if you're going to feel it, how you're going to feel it. Because to be honest, I've done it with my students in my workshop classes. Everyone was always super happy and loved it and felt that that was the way for them to connect. But I am not allowed to say that is going to happen for you. But if you are open and you're willing and you want to connect, you are going to get a answer, and you're going to get a feeling for that. I created Rune Yoga that way. I added some layers who are very, very important to get into some kind of trance-like state, because it's the trance-like state that helps you to get rid of all those filters and to see your true self, and to see how everything is connected. So if you are now curious about the course, it will come out in the beginning of March, as I said. If you want to do the teacher, to become a teacher, certified Rune Yoga teacher, which will be in September, October, I guess, for the English-speaking ones. I'm going to start with the German-speaking ones in a weekend where we meet here in Hamburg. And but the English-speaking ones I will have to do online. And if you sign up for the teacher classes, and you do it 2 months earlier, you will get a discount there too. And early bird will then be 400 euros. So, and if you want to become a teacher, which I would love that you could come with us, start something completely new, which has never been there. And I also would say to those of you who already are yoga teachers, this is the perfect add-on, because sometimes the students want something more than only doing something with the body. And if you want to go deeper, you can offer Runen Yoga for your students. And that is actually the perfect add-on. But even if you don't want to become a teacher, this Rune Yoga online course will help you and guide you through everything. Don't expect it to be like one practice unit in itself. It's a guideline. I am showing you how to practice, but you will have to practice it alone then. I'm only showing you. You can also copy me while doing that, but afterwards you're alone. You can put together so that you can pick the rune that is suitable for you in that moment and just work with it. And you know how to do it, how to start, what you have to do with the postures, what you have to do in between the postures and the raunen, where you have to look, what you have to do, what kind of accessories you need, and how to finish a complete unit and everything. So that is what you get from the Rune Yoga course, online course. It's a lot. If you are on the waiting list, you will definitely get a discount. So the course, let me look at this. The course is actually going to cost 799 euros. But if you're on the waiting list, you're going to get 20% off, which is 639.20. And now I introduce you to the workshops that are upcoming. So the first workshop is going to be for goal clarity and success on the 22nd of March. And for the English speakers, it's a Sunday, and it's going to start at 1 o'clock, and it's going to be 2 hours online. And also, if you want to become a teacher, you should definitely have visited or done at least one workshop with me. This is important. You have to know what you're getting into when you want to become a teacher. So, and therefore, I can also keep it pretty short in one weekend, because you have already done the work. You have already the Rune Yoga online course, and you have already done a workshop, so that you know how it should look like. I really look forward. And if you have any questions, just write to me, text me. You have all my contacts on my homepage, www.runen-yoga.com, or Instagram, runen, and I think the slash at the bottom, yoga. You'll find me, I guess. Thank you very much for participating. I wish you a lovely evening, and I hope to see you in one of my workshops, or maybe even in the teacher classes. Yay! Wishing you a lovely evening. Take care. Hej då. Bye bye.